We have many different relationships in our lives. We have husband, wife, father, son, mother, daughter, friends, co-workers, and then we have our relationship with God. On Friday, I had a wedding, and then on Saturday, I had a wedding. And in between those two weddings, I had a wedding appointment. So I had a number of relationships. And the wedding appointment's interesting because you're talking about the relationship and trying to make it stronger. And the marriages are interesting because right then in that moment, the love is clearly there. But you also know that for that love to remain, it will take some time. It will take some effort. And that is true in all our relationships. It takes some time. It takes some effort. After the second wedding yesterday, I went to the gala for a Women's Concern Pregnancy Center. And obviously we spoke a lot about relationships between a mother, a father, and a child. And how many difficult decisions parents have to make in their relationships. And then I got home after being away most of the day, and the dog greeted me. And the dog greeted me and then wanted its treat, because that's what it gets when I come home. I gave him the treat. But after the dog finished the treat, she came and ran and jumped in my lap and just was crazy all over. And in that relationship, it's like, okay, it's been a long day. And I haven't been here all day, but obviously you don't mind. You're just happy to see me. And we have those relationships as well. Not just with our animals, with pets, but with people that we're glad to see. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we had that same relationship with God? That we were glad to see God. Because we know God is glad to see us. God is kind of like that dog. Hey, it's good to see you. What if on all our relationships, we strove to have God as the foundation? Before we spoke to our husband or our wife, before we spoke to our mom or our dad, before we spoke to our children, before we spoke to that coworker or that friend, or perhaps the relationships that we find it difficult, before we spoke to those people, the more we can allow God to be a part of our relationships, all our relationships, the better they're going to be. The first reading we heard, when one finds a worthy wife, her value is far beyond pearls. But the one wedding, that was the first reading. The value is far beyond pearls. We can have pearls. We can have stuff. We can have nice things. That's all good. But relationships, good relationships, are important. Sometimes that's difficult. It's hard. It takes some effort. But perhaps when we value the relationship we have with God above every other relationship, then every other relationship becomes a little stronger. And then we're able to value every other relationship above anything that we might have. The Psalm said, "Blessed are those who fear the Lord." Not like this, but honor the Lord. When we honor him in our relationships, who walks in his ways, who walks in God's ways. Probably one of the hardest things to do, to strive each day to walk in God's ways. And how do we figure that out? We figure that out by consciously connecting with God each and every day. Imagine what the day would be like if we said to God every morning, God, walk with me today. I say that a lot, but it's so important. We make life more complicated. Life is complicated. There's a lot of stuff going on. Some of it good, some of it not so good. But if we choose to walk with the Lord each and every day, the second reading we heard, the day of the Lord will come like a thief at night. We don't know when this world is going to end. We don't know when our presence in this world is going to end. What we do have control over is how we're going to live in this world and how we're going to live in our relationships. But you, brothers and sisters, are not in darkness for that day to overtake you like a thief. For all of you are children of the light and children of the day. Stay sober and alert. Are we truly children of the light? Or are we just pretending? I'm not pretending. No. If I'm really a child of the light, I'm going to live a certain way. If I live other ways except on Sunday morning, am I really a child of the light or am I just pretending? In the gospel, he entrusted his possessions to them according to their abilities. We all don't have the same ability, and that's okay. Can you imagine what the world would be like if we all had the exact same abilities? It'd be crazy. So God doesn't ask us to be anybody else. He just asks us to use our abilities to the best ability that we can. That's all he asks. Perhaps sometimes we even ask too much of ourselves, when God is simply asking us to use the gifts and the talents and the abilities that he has given to us. Take the talent from him and give it to the one with the 10. The end of that gospel was kind of rough. The guy didn't use his talents. He just let them sit there. So he gave the talent to the person who had more because that person had used their talents to the best of their ability. That's all God asks. So we have many different relationships. Some of those relationships are easier. Some of those relationships are a little more difficult. Most important relationship is our relationship with God. When we put that relationship first, then every other relationship will go better. Will go the way we want it to go? Not necessarily, but it will go better. We thank God for the gift of our lives. And we ask God for the grace to put our relationship with him first. And then we ask God to be present. We ask God to be present in all our relationships.